Actors are different. Someone is able to get used to absolutely any role, be it a villain, a hero, or
Captain Jack Sparrow, if you please.
Someone, on the contrary, became popular thanks to a single role that elevated him to the Hollywood Olympus, but at the same time made him its hostage. And there was a third kind of actor. They are hostages of one role, which has become a household name for each of them, and from which our heroes have not been able to get rid of. They have portrayed a typical hero with a typical set of characteristics, regardless of the film throughout their career. Today, we will talk about the third type. Who is on our list, and did they have a chance to get out of this trap? This is Truth Chronicles, and we are starting.
What it is a good for? Absolutely nothing.
So, the first one we want to remember is Steven Seagal. Most likely you've already guessed that we are talking about his role in the film Above the Law. Despite the rather cold reception by critics, the audience liked the image of a young, honest policeman. But, unfortunately for many, he remained Nico Toscani. No matter how hard Steven Seagal tried to jump out of his role, he couldn't do it. The image of an extremely fair and honest guy who fights evil, selflessly protects pretty women,
there's nothing in this world that I wouldn't do for my family,
and is a terrible dream of every mafia has firmly stuck to him. This is how we can see Seagal in any of the almost 60 films in which he had a chance to play. The future star got into the world of cinema thanks to his hobbies in martial arts. From the age of 15, Steven was engaged in Aikido, and the art fascinated him so much that it became his life's work. Later, the actor called it his obsession or vocation. Aikido began to occupy all his thoughts. While studying in Japan, he earned the title of Aikido Master and also received black belts in karate, judo, and kendo. Why do you need to know that? So that you can feel all the coolness of Seagal and understand why serious men from Warner Brothers agreed to take the master to the main role in a new project of one of Steven's students, Michael Ovitz. This project was supposed to show all the power and beauty of martial arts. It was the same Above the Law that we mentioned at the beginning. The following works of the actor differed little in their essence, and even in name: Hard to Kill, Marked for Death, Out for Justice, Under Siege, On Deadly Ground, and so on. Moreover, all these films were released in just a few years, from 1990 to 1994. Since 1998, the quality of films with Seagal's participation has been inexorably going down, and if the production of battle scenes justified the spent time, then everything else was not. The actor rarely left his role, but it was quite possible that he was comfortable staying in the same character, and the actor was not too eager to get out of the image of a tough cop and a movie fighter. Danny Trejo became another hostage of his role. His character in the world of cinema is the antagonist of Nico, namely a bright representative of the gangster craft. In all his films, Trejo plays a stern-looking guy with a tattooed body and a heavy look. Most often, he played the role of the leader of some desperate gang.
Have you ever killed anyone before?
Interestingly, Trejo did not have to get used to the image of a criminal because, in fact, he played himself in all the films. Having been hooked on drugs since his youth, Trejo served more than one time. Outside the prison walls, he was a member of one of the most violent and numerous street gangs, MS-13. However, then he passed a rehabilitation program and became a mentor for the same lost souls as he was.
I want you to say 10 Our Fathers and 10 Hail Marys. Light a candle for Mom.
One of his wards was an actor. So, by chance, Danny got on set of the movie Runaway Train in 1985, where he was supposed to train Eric Roberts for a prison boxing match scene. There, he was noticed by director Andrei Konchalovsky, thanks to whom Trejo got on the big screen. Gradually, the actor has had more than 300 roles played, but a series of negative supporting roles followed, in which he has a similar role as a thug, a prisoner, a bandit, a psycho, a drug dealer, a maniac, and all sorts of other characters of the criminal world. According to Trejo, the most difficult thing for him is communication with other actors. His past made itself felt, and his formidable appearance was not conducive to friendship. In one interview, he admitted, "The only one who wasn't afraid of me and talked normally was Nicolas Cage." Of course, not only the past, but also the appearance contributed to the formation of his image. Probably, no matter how desperate Danny's desire to play a character of a different type was, he would hardly have been offered the role of Romeo, or at least Robin Hood. If the type of Danny Trejo is the opposite of Steven Seagal, then Zac Efron can be called the antipode to the image of Danny in the movie world. The sugary American guy has grown over the years into the same sugary young man. The tabloids called Zac the main Hollywood heartthrob for a long time. A pretty face and a beautiful athletic body expectedly made him a typical darling of destiny. His heroes, despite their spoiled character, enjoy the attention of women and do not miss the slightest chance to brag about their success on the love front in front of rivals. Don't you believe it? Remember at least a couple of his pictures over the last decade, for example. We Are Your Friends, Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates, The Greatest Showman, Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil and Vile, and many others. But Efron came to the star Olympus thanks to his roles in the films High School Musical and Baywatch. At the same time, despite his appearance, the actor did not become famous quickly. The handsome man was not in a hurry to be selected at auditions, and in the 2000s, the artist starred only in a few episodic roles. The appearance did not help at the casting for the High School Musical, where Zac and the rest of the candidates had to work hard. These auditions were a real hassle. One day they arranged a kind of marathon for us. We sang and danced all night. Moreover, when I wasn't being filmed, I wasn't allowed to rest anyway. It was necessary to leave the studio and dance right on the street. They said that it was in order not to lose the mood. But he passed the test with dignity. Of course, it's fair to say that Zac was a little more lucky than his two previous colleagues. Despite the fact that outwardly his type is monotonous, the genres in which he works are far more diverse, from comedy to thriller. In addition, there have been serious changes in his career recently. For example, in the 2022 military comedy drama film The Greatest Beer Run Ever, Zac played a former Marine. He also played one of the roles in Sean Durkin's film The Iron Claw, which talked about the Von Erich family of wrestlers. So let's hope that in the end he will in his role of a carefree, handsome man.
I'm gagged, and you're not. You know what? I will be heard. Thank you, Ken. Thank you.
Jason Statham became no less a hostage of appearance. Before Jason got into the world of cinema, he managed to work as a model, was engaged in professional diving, starred in jeans commercials, worked as a street seller of stolen jewelry and perfume.
These are not stolen. It's just something paid for. You're getting the game and change the bloody upset of beer.
And of course, he accidentally got into the cinema. I sold fake perfume, which didn't smell that good, he recalled. So I guess I developed some action skills. The career of the British actor began very successfully with the picture Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, released in 1998. The film was directed by Guy Ritchie, for whom it was also a debut. Ritchie was impressed by Statham's ambiguous past and modeling achievements, and instead of standard auditions, the director offered him a test. Jason had to sell him fake gold jewelry. The future actor coped with it perfectly. The actor recalled about this case. Guy needed an authentic character, and it was me, because such things are not taught in drama school. Guy Ritchie liked Statham's burly, no-nonsense masculinity. Despite the mixed reviews of critics, the film quickly became a cult classic. 2 years later, Guy Ritchie shot the movie Snatch, where Jason also got one of the main roles.
Where did you get it?
Boris the Bloke.
You mean Boris the sneaky f***ing Russian?
This was followed by several not very remarkable films, the series of which was interrupted by another outstanding director, Luc Besson. The film The Transporter, released in 2002, became one of the most famous in the actor's piggy bank. He turned him into a star, but lured him into another trap. He turned Jason into an actor of one role. By the way, almost all the tricks in The Transporter were performed personally by the actor. The film at that time was a very cool action movie. However, he was followed by similar pictures, including The Expendables, Death Race, Transporter 2, The Mechanic, Killer Elite, Safe, and, of course, Fast and Furious, from the 6th to the 9th part. In each of these pictures, Statham appears in the image of a charismatic tough guy who never smiles, occasionally shaves, and proudly goes with his bald head.
And what you might call a champagne problem.
The brutality of the image is emphasized by the ability to masterfully drive a car and deftly smash everyone who gets in his way. Mostly among his roles are either a hired killer or a robber or a representative of law and order. In fairness, it should be said that there are characters of a different kind in the career of this actor, although for 15 years of professional activity there are very, very few of them. You can, for example, mention a decent former prisoner Jake Green from the film Revolver, and a comedic character named Rick Ford from the movie Spar. The latter role was more like Statham's banter over his own characters, whom he played for many years in a row. Due to Maharaj building, using a little light gun as a parachute. Most likely, Jason Statham liked his role because there were no bright attempts to change it. Well, probably we'll have more than one chance to meet on the screen with the brutal guy played by Jason, who is loved by many. Have you watched movies with Jason Statham and the characters of this video? Write in the comments who is your favorite. Among Richie's protégés, one more guy can be singled out. It's football player Vinnie Jones. It was with the light hand of Guy Ritchie that the door of Hollywood opened wide for Vinnie. By the way, like Jason Statham, he made his debut in the film Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels as one of the London bandits.
Come on. Chop, chop.
Of course, this role was not fixed for him from scratch, because even on the football field, he showed up as a tough athlete with a cool temper. Vinnie's nickname, Axe, was appropriate. Later, the actor recalled, "My film career didn't start easily. The night before the shooting of Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, I had to learn my role, but instead, I got into a fight with a neighbor. That's why I came to the shooting straight from prison." Vinnie had no acting experience. The director invited the football player to the filming after he saw him in one of the TV shows where he participated as a football player. Brutal appearance, good physical shape, and the famous character of Vinnie Jones fit very well into the types of Guy Ritchie's gangster movies. Therefore, the actor became an eternal relentless bully. For 20 years of his acting career, he has not left, so to speak, the gangster track. His filmography is full of such roles as Extractor Mad Maynard, Danny Brickwell. Single attempts to change roles were in such films as Mean's Machine or Gone in 60 Seconds. What attempts can hardly be called successful because he's not much different there. In general, Vinnie Jones' acting has declined over time, and now he has to get by with second-rate roles in films of sometimes very dubious reputation. Our next hero, who did not initially think about an acting career, is Dwayne Johnson. Since school, The Rock dreamed of achieving success in American football, and in 1991 even won the national championship. However, due to injury, football did not work out, and the future actor professionally engaged in wrestling. Johnson soon acquired his famous nickname, The Rock. Dwayne's acting career began in 2001 with participation in the film The Mummy Returns. However, is it possible to call this role full flesh? After all, his image was created with the help of computer graphics there, and even of a bad quality. Nevertheless, this did not prevent Dwayne from appearing in the main role a year later, playing the Scorpion King in the action-adventure of the same name. Moreover, he not only received the first major role, but also more than a solid fee, namely $5.5 million. And this was not the last pleasant bonus for a novice actor. This amount, and the name of Dwayne with it, entered the Guinness World Records as the largest reward for the debut first role. By the way, he still holds the title of one of the most expensive actors. Obviously, monotony is not always a hindrance in an acting career. After all, it's true that in each of the films, Dwayne is the same, both externally and in nature. Remember, for example, Baywatch, Fast and Furious, or Red Notice. In each of them, this is a guy of a protein appearance, restoring justice in the world. A positive big guy is pacifying enemies with his charm. Oh yes, he does it sometimes with fists, but charm is firstly. However, Johnson also has attempted to get rid of the image. In Southland Tales, he plays the role of a prophet, movie star suffering from amnesia, and in Pay and Gain, he's a former drug addict who turned to religion. Despite the fact that the pictures are far from standard action movies, the actor looks the same he always does. Big, peaceful, and with a wide smile. In 2018, Dwayne became the highest paid actor in the world. The actor has schedules for years ahead, including the major franchises, and so he can be forgiven for some similar roles. Before we move on to the next hero, we suggest you click on the subscription button and the bell so you won't miss the release of new videos about your favorite celebrities. Subscribe, and we continue. The next one from the team of famous bald machos is Vin Diesel. The actor conquers the world screens thanks to a great sense of his own superiority. If you carefully watch the films in which Vin Diesel starred, it is not difficult to notice that with age he admires himself more and more, and the established role indulges him in this. All his heroes are clear, charismatic, but at the same time, tough guys. All the ladies around him lost consciousness from his appearance, and his fists left their mark on the face of almost every male who got in his way. The actor admitted that he wanted to become an artist all his life and stubbornly moved to the planned path. "I always knew I was going to be a movie star. I knew this even in my early childhood." A gym and experience as a bouncer in one of the Manhattan clubs helped him find his signature image. It was there that he got the nickname by which we know him, as well as the experience of street fights and the seduction of women. The old-school fighting training of those times helped him later create an on-screen image of a tough guy. "I needed to look massive and even dangerous," he said in his interviews. For 20 years of his acting career, Vin Diesel has become such a three-faced Dionysus in the world of cinema. Sometimes he appears in the image of Riddick from the picture of the same name, then saves the world in the image of Xander Cage from Triple X.
Triple X.
Oh boy. Here we go.
And sometimes he transforms into Dominic Toretto and steals the hearts of his admirers at breakneck speed. In whatever character Diesel plays, it will either be an interpretation or a combination of typical images for the actor. Jean-Claude Van Damme is not a bald macho man, but no less a cool man. If his previous colleagues in the acting workshop skillfully throw punches, then Van Damme is good with his legs, being a master of martial arts, or rather, karate. And if everything is monotonous in the movies for an actor, then in reality there is something to tell about him. There is the title of European Champion in Karate, which he received in 1979, a black belt in the same type of martial arts, as well as the title of European Champion in Kickboxing in the actor's piggy bank. In addition, the actor is good at Kung Fu, Muay Thai, and Taekwondo. And what is very interesting is that the actor devoted 5 whole years of his youth to classical ballet classes. Jean-Claude's first steps into the world of acting were very modest, with such insignificant roles that they were not even noticed in the credits. From 1971 to 1984, he managed to portray himself in such images as a homosexual karate guy, a guy in a medal, and a dancing spectator. Fame came to the actor with the film No Retreat, No Surrender, which was released in 1986. In this picture, Van Damme appeared in the image of a karateka, and then everything went smoothly. Films were released one by one, in which good necessarily wins over evil. Of course, we are talking about such pictures as Kickboxer, Bloodsport, Street Fighter, or Double Impact. All of them tell the story of a young and not burdened with wealth karateka who rebels against the injustice coming from seasoned masters. The guy trains a lot, overcoming pain to defeat the bad ones. It is worth mentioning the training episodes of Van Damme's characters. They were accompanied by a motivating musical composition which only contributed to winning the hearts of the audience. As a result, Jean-Claude's training has become a classic in this genre of cinema. Over time, films with Van Damme participation began to acquire the features of more standard action movies, and already in such films as Sudden Death, Universal Soldier, and Hard Target, the image embodied by the actor began to resemble a little Bruce Willis and a little Jackie Chan. Nevertheless, for the audience, Jean-Claude will forever remain an honest and dexterous karate guy who is ready to sit on the splits again and again, overcoming unimaginable pain. The list of actors, masters of various martial arts, would be incomplete without Chuck Norris. Thanks to the famous series, the actor has become a model of coolness all over the world. What kind of superpowers were not attributed to him? A man who, as a child, slept with a bear, but not a teddy bear, but a real one. A man who has counted to infinity twice and can divide by 0. We think you've definitely heard these or similar humorous facts about Norris walking on the net. Chuck reacts differently to such memes. He makes fun of some and treats some more seriously. For example, he once countered a joke about the ability of his tears to cure cancer by saying that there really was a person on Earth whose tears healed. However, his name was not Chuck Norris, but Jesus. But no matter how much the fans had fun, his life was really hard. The future actor spent his childhood in poverty. The father left the family, and the mother was illiterate, and even left alone with 3 young sons. They had to live in a trailer. But one day a new man appeared in their family, replacing the boy's father. It was he who helped Chuck fall in love with sports. Chuck enlisted in the Air Force. It was at the military base that he got his famous nickname, Chuck. Military service seemed boring to him, so he took up martial arts. By the way, 3 years later, Norris already had a black belt. After the Army, Chuck began to study karate professionally, and by 1968, he already had his own network of schools. And in the same year, he got the light heavyweight karate world champion title. He has not given this title to anyone for 7 years. Steve McQueen opened the door to the world of cinema for the future famous actor. They became friends when Norris introduced the actor to the art of karate. Chuck played his first serious role in the movie The Way of the Dragon, sharing one set with movie legend Bruce Lee. Then he was waiting for a career swing for several years. Successful films and not very differed little from each other in spirit, and one day Norris was offered filming in the series Walker, Texas Ranger, which was released in 1993. He gave rise to one of the most comic facts about Chuck Norris, and of course, it fixed the role of a Texas Ranger for the actor, the most formidable guy on Earth.
I heard another rumor that you were bitten by a king cobra.
Yeah, I was. But after 5 days of agonizing pain, the cobra died.
Well, how not to tell about the audience's favorite, Jackie Chan. An outstanding and, without exaggeration, the only actor in his way. He harmoniously combines all the features for which the audience loves actors: natural talent, courage, humor, fighting style, lavishly decorated with acrobatic elements. And of course, there is a very beautiful production. In his performance, every fight is a show. In order to achieve veracity and showiness on the set, he performed tricks for real. Therefore, he got more than one fracture, a lot of injuries, and a severe traumatic brain injury. It was Jackie who came up with the classical format of the films in which he starred, a comedy with a demonstration of martial arts and an abundance of complex, dangerous tricks. American stuntmen are very smart. They are constantly thinking about security. If they need to ride in the shop by car, they calculate everything, speed and distance. Oh, we don't know how to count in Hong Kong. All our actions are guesses. If you have enough courage, you just do what you have in mind, and that's it. Nevertheless, no matter how cool Jackie Chan was on the set, he erected a very strict framework around his character, beyond which he has never gone. The actor claims that he created his image in contrast to the image of Bruce Lee, who was inherited by all the action movies of that time, where the main characters necessarily embodied serious and focused fighters. Most of the films in which the actor played were action movies of the comedy genre. Jackie Chan appeared in the image of a simple guy from Asia who sincerely smiles and has a modest and kind soul. All his characters are slightly lazy, comical, have problems in the family or with a girl, but strong and honest. They do not hold a grudge and therefore punish scoundrels without any rage. He does it exclusively with kindness and only for educational purposes, so to speak. Despite the fame and popularity, Chan decided not to stop there. In the early 2000s, the actor began experimenting with various genres and roles, acting with both Chinese and American directors. So, in 2010, he tried himself for the first time in a dramatic image in the film Karate Kid. In 2011, Jackie realized himself as a director and producer in the film 1911. But despite this, Jackie Chan was and remains himself in every movie. This is shown even in the fact that few people remember the names of his heroes. But this is not necessary. We love Jackie exactly for who he is. It is also rightly regarding the other characters in this video. Whether they have Statham's face of stone or do Van Damme's unusual tricks, the latter, by the way, became the founder of the new approach to cinematic combat scenes, and his fame came to him against all odds. In our other video, we tell in more detail about how Jean-Claude entered the world of cinema and why he rapidly slipped into the abyss. Why is Van Damme hated by his own stuntmen, and what if famous films would not have been released if not for the actor's stubbornness? Click on the video that appears on your screen. A lot of interesting facts are waiting for you, and don't forget to like this video. That's it. Truth Chronicles is with you. Bye-bye.